Hello everyone, welcome to Book Club Preview. I'm Michael, and today we're looking at the Spiderwick Chronicles, the Wrath of Mulgarath, Chapter 5, and this is technically the last chapter, but there is an epilogue at the end. And an epilogue is just like a small ending chapter to kind of make sure everything in the story is finished. So, this was a long chapter. Jared, Mallory, and Simon, they see their parents, and they start to unloosen the chains and the ropes and the kind of bonds that are on the parents. And at this point, Jared's dad just starts asking questions like, what was happening, what was going on, what is this book, and he's just asking questions and questions and questions. And Jared feels a little funny, but Simon and Mallory, they're just trying to answer the questions as easily as they can. And Jared's answering the questions too. And he asks like, well, who else knows about these fairy creatures? And Jared and Simon are like, Simon and Mallory are like, Jared knows the most. He could probably rewrite the book if he wanted to. And all this time, the dad is getting this information. And we find out that it's not really Jared's dad. He says, come to me, my children. Let's just be a family again. And he gets Mallory and Simon. But Jared doesn't go. And Jared says, you're not my dad. My dad wouldn't say that. My dad's a jerk. My dad only thinks about himself. And my dad does this and this and this. And I wish he sounded like you. But you're not him. And at that moment, Dad changes to Mulgarath. And his muscles are, super strong and big. And he's just holding Mallory and Simon by the neck. And Mulgarath says, look, I will give your brother and sister back and your mom if you come to me and die. I don't want anyone else to know this information. I'm going to rule the world. Of course, Jared thinks that Mulgarath is lying. But Mulgarath has his brother and sister, so he doesn't know what to do. And Mulgarath says, if you don't accept my deal, I'm going to throw your brother and sister out the window. And so Jared tries to think, well, man, what can I do to save everyone, right? This is a really big deal. Everyone might die. And he sees Mallory's sword next to him. And he says, he tries to think about what Arthur told them, that ogres like to boast or talk about themselves. And so he says, what is your plan? What are you planning to do? And so Mulgarath is like, okay, well, I'm going to take over the world, and humans have been taking too many things, but they live short lives. Now it's time for the immortals to win, and I'm going to be king of everything. And Jared even asks him, like, where did you hide the book? And Mulgarath is like, I'm not going to tell you. And Jared says, well, I just wanted to know if I had a chance of finding it. And Mulgarath laughs and says, I hid it underneath my throne. You would have never found it. Ha 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 ha. And as Mulgarath is sharing his plan, Jared is like, hey, Thimbletack, can you wrap these chains around Mallory and Simon? And Thimbletack's like, okay, I'm going to try. And so as Jared is talking, Thimbletack is wrapping these chains around. Jared pauses the conversation and looks down at the brownie, which Mulgarath notices, and he kicks the brownie. And he's like, you thought you were going to trick me? You can't trick me. And with that, he throws Simon and Mallory out the window. And they go, oh! And it stops. And then Jared gets so angry, he picks up the sword and he runs over to Mulgarath. But he can see Mulgarath, this smile. Like, yeah, that's exactly what I want you to do. Come to me. And Jared, something's wrong. And he, instead of hitting Mulgarath like that, He turns the sword and he hits him in the foot. Ah! Mulgarath steps back. And as he steps back, I'm not a little sure exactly what happened, but I think Simon like pulls the chain that Thimbletack wrapped on Mulgarath's foot, and Mulgarath falls out the window. But as he's falling, he changes to a dragon and he captures one of the chains and he starts climbing up the chain. And Jared hits the sword and it cuts the chain. And then Mulgarath is falling down and Mulgarath changes into a bird and the bird is flying down towards the goblin army. And then right as it gets close, before anyone could even understand what happens, a hobgoblin hand reaches out, grabs the little bird, bites its head, and starts eating it. And Hogsqueal says, "I never liked Mulgarath." Of course, Hogsqueal uses some funny words again, because he always calls everyone these really funny bad words, bad names. And Hogsqueal saves the day. What? Could you imagine that? Oh my goodness. Well, vocabulary words. Error again. Sorry. The first one, furrowed his brows, is like think. When your eyebrows go together to think, that's furrowing your eyebrows. Clammy. Clammy is like when you get nervous and your hand gets sweaty and it's like, oh, it just kind of feels a little strange and sticky and cold and not pleasant. Flexed. That's when you put energy in your muscle. I don't have very big muscles, sorry. Strode is like long steps. Mulgarath strode over to the window. Heave is to use energy. So if you're pulling a rope, sometimes we'll say, heave, ho, heave. And this is meaning using power or strength. And in our story's case, it could also mean throw. Ooh. Of course, Mulgarath doesn't need to use power because the kids are so light for him. But he says, I'll heave them out the window. And the last one, immense, means great or a lot. I can't remember if it's like immense amount of energy or immense size. I can't exactly remember, but it just means a lot. Discussion question. How did you think Mulgarath was going to die, or the story going to end with Mulgarath? I mean, honestly, I did not imagine Hogsqueal saving the day. There were a few things I thought maybe would happen. Well, I'll actually share mine with you when we meet together. But I didn't think he would change into a bird and Hogsqueal would eat him. I never imagined that in my wildest dreams. What did you think was going to happen? And that obviously didn't happen. But still, probably you had some idea of how you thought Jared or the kids were going to defeat Mulgarath. Or maybe you thought they were all going to die and Mulgarath was going to win. Of course, please write down your own discussion question. That is all the time that we have for today. But thank you so much for reading this chapter with me in this book. And we have one last short video of the epilogue. Have a great day and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, if you have any questions about the video today, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. If you had any other vocabulary words that you wanted to know what they meant, let me know. And also, if you're interested in maybe joining one of these book clubs, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.